Okay, well, we got an awesome artist tonight, like always, but I want to introduce myself. I'm Julie Delgado. You're at the Music Maker stage. You're in the right place for Friday night. Mr. Tim Hibbs, my co-host. We're going to make you feel like family and at home tonight. And we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping first. So during the day, Delgado Guitars is open over there. My husband is a third-generation luthier, so come back in the day for all your guitar needs. And at night, we have special shows like this. Venue space. We've had this since 2019, and live stream and live shows and private events and the whole 9 yards. So right now, I was going to tell you to put your phone away, but I'm going to tell you to take it out. Yeah, that's right. Please like us. Please follow us. Do you like us? Like us. Follow us. Subscribe. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the socials. Here are our hashtags. This is your homework later. And I'm sure our artists wouldn't mind a little video and a picture and a little hashtag, right? So, feel free to do that. Make sure your phones are on silent, though. And other things, go to our website, check out our calendar. We have a fun show like this twice a month on a Friday night, approximately every other Friday. And it's a real in-depth look at the artist. We're going to do the nitty-gritty interview in the middle and get to know Gina and all her about what she's doing, how her albums are doing, and all that stuff, and her other live performances towards the middle, and Tim will take over there. What else? Oh, if you want to sign up for our newsletter, we have a newsletter e-blast that I don't blast people, but I send about twice a month, so if you can handle that, and know about our shows in the future. And please tell your friends. Our goal is to be the premier listening room on the east side, and we are on our way. So tell everybody you know, Friday night, Music Maker Stage, 7 p.m., and we're live streaming as well. So thank you for watching at home, and with no further ado, Gina Sicilia. Woo!
Hey guys, thanks so much for coming out. I'm Gina Sicilia. Thank you, Julie. Thank you to Delgado Guitars and Music Maker Stage for having me back. This is Landon Fishburne on the guitar, all the way from East Nashville, Tennessee. Great to be here. We're going to play some tunes for you. This first one is off one of my albums. The song is called Addicted. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I take a puff of my Camel pipe and drink up all I got. Pull a dollar out my pocket, put a quarter in the slide. I pull on the lever, find out what I'm gonna win. The only place I'm going is the only place I've been. I'm addicted. I think I'll have another round. I love the way it tastes, I love the way it feels as it's going down, babe. Now they say they want to send me to some place out in the west where nobody's gonna judge me, where the doctors are the best. But I think I'll sit right here and feel nothing tonight, 'cause the feeling of not feeling is really feeling nice. I'm addicted. I think I'll have another round, baby. I love the way it tastes, I love the way it feels as it's going down, baby. I don't care anymore if what you think I'm doing is dumb. I don't care anymore, I can die when I'm done. I always find a way, so won't you back up, please? You're a fool to think I'm truthful, I've been lying through my teeth. My temper's running high, I need that wine to smooth me out. You just don't really get it, you don't know what it's about to be addicted. I'm gonna have another round, babe. I love the way it tastes, I love the way it feels as it's going down, babe. Thanks, guys. All right, well, I'm going to jump around a little bit, and I just back in April, I just released my 10th studio album, and I like to still jump around to my different CDs that all represent a different time and a different chapter in my life. So this one that I'm about to do is kind of my adult version of an old nursery rhyme, and it's off my second CD, Hey Sugar, from 2008. It's called Jack and Jill. I think I wrote this one on a train to New York City back then. Here we go. I was strolling down a mountain, whistling a little tune. I see a man walking, he was a whistling too. He had a cigar in his hand, he looked so brand new. I was wearing black and he was wearing blue. When our eyes met, I got a little chill, and we rolled down the mountain, babe, like Jack and Jill. Yeah, yes we did. This man got off his knees, brushed the grass on my sleeve, tells me he's a lawyer from deep in Tennessee. I tell him I'm a baker, and I think he's swell. I bake birthday cakes for the men in county jail. Hearts were beating, eyes were bright and still, and we kept on kissing like Jack and Jill. Oh, babe, oh, yes, we did. He took me to a house, the house where he lived. It was green and decorated with blue-colored violins. There was coffee in the kitchen, and the oven would be soon. A tiny baby girl that we'd call Mary Lou. Baby was crying, we were happy still, and our hearts were thumping like Jack and Jill. Yeah. Had a family affair on top of Big Green Mountain in a town called Sunny Square. There were 43 grandchildren, 13 more on the way. It was a bright, kind of cheery, kind of special little day. Barbecue was cooking, we were having our little thrill, and we rolled down the mountain like Jack and Jill. Thank you. All right. It's really good to be out singing, and I think the first time I played here was just before the pandemic hit in early 2020, and so good to be back out in the open, singing live, and feels so good, and I'm glad you're all here to listen. And I want to do a tune that I got to shoot a music video for right here in East Nashville at the American Legion. It was a lot of fun, and
if you're an East Nashville local and you go and you know a local filmmaker named Scott Sachs, he and you laugh immediately because he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. He produced the video. He directed it. But the song is called Sugar. So if you feel like getting up and dancing and doing a little line dance like we did at the Legion, feel free. Here we go. It's a little whimsical tune.
Honey, come on and be my honey. Come on, I got a smooth taste of sweet sugar, honey, running through my mind. Hey, and sugar, I said I wanna talk it over, baby, and put a little sweet sugar candy in my life. Oh, I gotta get a taste of honey, baby, if that's alright. What I need so badly, only you can supply. If you don't really mind, I wanna stay here tonight. I got a smooth taste of sweet sugar, honey, running through my mind. So fine, the feeling is so fine. The feeling of your smooth taste of sweet sugar, honey, it's so fine, babe. And sugar, I said I wanna talk it over, babe, and put a little sweet sugar, honey, in my life, babe. I gotta get a taste of honey, baby, if that's alright. What I need so badly, only you can supply. If you don't really mind, I wanna stay here tonight. I got a smooth taste of sweet sugar, honey, running through my mind, babe. Honey, come on and be my honey. Come on, I got a smooth as a sweet sugar, honey, running through my mind. Hey, sugar, I said I wanna turn it over, baby, and put a little sweet sugar, honey, in my life, babe. I gotta get a taste of honey, baby, if that's alright. What I need so badly, only you can supply. If you don't really mind, I wanna stay here tonight. I got a smooth taste of sweet sugar, running through my mind. I got a smooth taste of sweet sugar, running through my mind. Yeah, I got a smooth taste of sweet sugar, running through my mind. Yeah, babe. Yeah, babe.
All right. All right. I'm going to jump back to my third album that I released on the Vistone label group in 2011. And the album's called Can't Control Myself. I guess at the time I could not. Getting better. And I grew up listening to a lot of the music that my parents loved. My first love is probably doo-wop. I'm a doo-wop lover. And I need to borrow some good doo-wop records from you Tim Hibbs. I absolutely love doo-wop. I love music from the 50s and 60s and the girl groups and Dion and the Belmonts and the Shirelles and the Ronettes and that whole era of music. So I wrote this song as a tribute to that era of music. And some people say it sounds like Under the Boardwalk. Some people compare it to that song, but I tried to make it my own. And if you're familiar with Carolina shag dancing, it's a dance that's popular in South Carolina, and it's kind of a big genre out there. There's kind of a big shag dancing scene, and this got nominated for Shag Dance Song of the Year in I think like 2014, and it lost to Michael Jackson. I don't know why he was nominated for Shag Dance Song of the Year, but anyway, if anyone knows how to shag dance, I think it involves a little twisting of the feet. Feel free. This is called Before the Night is Through.
Will you ask me to dance before the music's over and the night is through? Will you twirl me and swirl me like in the old days they used to do? And if my feet get tired, will you pull me aside and say, I love you? Will you ask me to dance before the night is through? Before the band stops playing, keep on saying those sweet, tender words. Will you wine me and dine me like they do in Paris, or so I've heard? And if my lips get lonely, moving slowly and say, I love you, will you kiss me with love before the night is through? Sometimes I get lonely and I need somebody's touch. Sometimes I feel so weary and my eyes get teary, and I need somebody's love before they close the curtain and the band is certain. Time for one more song. Will you gaze in my eyes in romantic movies from days gone by? And if I'm feeling lonely, be my only because I love you. Will you ask me to dance before the night is through? I feel so weary and my eyes get teary, and I need somebody's love. Will you ask me to dance before the music's over and the night is through? Will you twirl me and swirl me like in the old days they used to do? And if my feet get tired, will you pull me aside and say, I love you? Will you ask me to dance before the night is through? Oh, will you ask me to dance before the night is through? Will you ask me to dance before the night is through? Ooh.
Thank you. All right, well, I'm going to jump ahead now to just this year, 2022, when I released my newest album. It's called Unchanged, and it's the very first album I ever recorded in Nashville, even though I've been living here for a number of years. And it was produced by an amazing musician, guitar player, producer, musical director of the ABC show Nashville, if you might be familiar with that, Colin Linden. And it was a pleasure to work with him, and I had done a gig with him a number of years ago, and always wanted to work with him in the studio. Life got busy with all of us recording and touring and other projects, but finally I was ready to record again and release a new album after COVID, and I reached out to Colin, and we got together in the studio, and we made an album. It came out on April 29th on VizTone, and it debuted at number 4 on the Billboard Blues chart, and I'm really proud of it. And it's an album that I've always wanted to make, filled with songs that the kind of songs that I've always wanted to record. But this is the title track, and this was actually written by Colin and his wife, Janice. It's a beautiful song, and it's called Unchanged.
Hear the words you said. I can't unsee the things we did. I can't unbe who I became. I can't unchange. We're two trains running through different towns. We've gone too far to turn around. You try so hard to stay the same, but you cannot change. Still of night, moon is high, cold black clouds, racing sky, heavenly stars testify, say goodbye. I found a photograph of you, a dime store vision drunk on youth, a moment stolen from the rain. You cannot change, you cannot change. Still of night, moon is high, cold black clouds, racing sky, heavenly stars testify, say goodbye. I cannot hear the words you said. I cannot see the things we did. I cannot be who I became. I cannot change. I cannot change.
Thank you very much.
Gina Sicilia, fantastic.
Thank you.
We're going to have a little conversation. You just stay right there.
Okay.
I'm going to, as soon as I loose this mic, grab a stool. So again, that was Unchanged, the title track of your new album.
Yes.
And I was just so happy to see that Colin produced it, because he's one of my favorite guys in town. He plays with everybody and just always plays the right thing.
Yes.
And such a cool guy, even for a Canadian. So.
Even for yeah. Give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, he's just such a gentleman, such a down-to-earth person, and you'd never know that he's worked with everybody under the sun.
Oh no,
he's worked with some legendary
yeah.
artists, and you'd never know. He's so humble and so talented, and everything he does is magic.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is the first album you recorded in Nashville.
It is, yes.
Where did you work on the album?
I worked at it at his home studio, actually,
home
in
studio?
Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, a few years ago, he built a home studio. It's beautiful. And we got to record there, and we had some great special guests come in. The McCrary sisters came and sang backup.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was a great experience, yeah.
Well, in the album before this, you worked with the Dickinson brothers, I believe.
I did. I worked with the North Mississippi All-Stars on the album,
Yeah.
the previous album. That was called Love Me Madly. It was produced by Cody Dickinson, who's the drummer, and his brother Luther Dickinson played guitar on 3 tracks. And I recorded it at Cody's home studio in South Haven, Mississippi, just south of Memphis. And we also did a bunch of tracking at the legendary Royal Studios in Memphis.
Oh, wow.
Which was an experience.
Well, didn't Charlie Hodges play organ?
He did. He played organ on a few tracks, yes.
One of the legendary high rhythm section players. Well, let's go back, though, because we were talking before everybody got here. Now, you are from Newtown, Pennsylvania.
I am.
In the Philadelphia area.
Yeah, a suburb of Philly.
And you mentioned your love of doo-wop and some of the older musics, but what was the spark that really got you interested in music? What's one of the first things that caught your ear, saying, you know, I kind of want to do that?
Well, I don't remember a time when I decided that I wanted to be a singer. I've been singing since I was a baby. It's all I've ever known. Music is all I've ever loved. It's all I've ever wanted to do. And my parents exposed me to a lot of amazing music growing up, including a lot of great Italian music, which my father, who is from Italy, exposed me and my siblings to. But when I was about 13 or 14 years old, I was watching TV and I saw an infomercial for an album, a compilation album called Solid Gold Soul, the blues edition. And they previewed some of the tracks, and it kind of caught my ear, and I ordered it, and that's the album that made me fall in love with blues and soul and classic soul and R&B. And Bobby Bland was on the album, and B.B. King, and Irma Thomas, and James Carr, and hearing Bobby Bland's version of Cry, Cry, Cry is the song that made me decide I wanted to be a blues singer. I loved how he sang, and I always said, I want to sing just like him. And so I would listen to that CD nonstop. I was in middle school, and I was sitting on the school bus with my Discman listening to Bobby Bland.
Oh, my goodness.
And Dark End of the Street by James Carr, and I just became obsessed with the idea of becoming a blues singer in middle school. And any free moment I had, I was in my bedroom singing along to like Aretha Franklin's blues and getting Etta James and Bobby Bland and on all the great artists and researching and subscribing to Blues Review magazine at the time. It's now called Blues Music Magazine, and just became obsessed with blues music and the whole idea of it, and songwriting. And I started writing songs when I was a bit younger, but then I kind of transitioned into writing blues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
I would even skip class and go to the library and write songs.
So when did you start performing?
I started performing when I ended up going to college, Temple University in Philadelphia. I majored in journalism. And when I was 18, I started attending blues jams in the city. I would take the subway to a club called Warmdaddy's. And it was a great blues club, and they had a weekly Tuesday night blues jam, and that was my first experience performing on stage with musicians. Before that, I did open mics and talent shows and county fairs and things like that. But my first experience with a band was at these blues jams, and I met some of my first band members at that club and started gigging, and then after I graduated college, I got my first record deal while still in college, and then after that, I hit the road, and I was on a mission to tour.
Is that how you became aware of Nashville? Did you tour here, or?
I actually never. I did tour in Nashville before I moved here, and my first gig in Nashville was at 3rd and Lindsley with Colin Linden.
Wow.
I had met him in Memphis at the Blues Music Awards a number of years before, and we kind of stayed in touch, and I wanted to play Nashville, so I reached out to him to see if he wanted to do a show with me, and so we did a co-bill at 3rd and Lindsley in January 2013, and then about 9 months later, I moved to town.
Nice. Well, I was so happy that you mentioned doo-wop, because I love doo-wop. In fact, Pennsylvania is home of the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. So, much of it came out of the New York and Philly area. Now, did your parents play this? How were you exposed to doo-wop?
They did. My dad is a doo-wop lover. Yeah, and Philadelphia radio stations would play it. Oldies 98.1 had Street Corner Sunday. It kind of sounds like it could be something else. Street Corner Sunday, and I would listen to the doo-wop on there, and I absolutely love it. It's just the most simple music, but it's just so classic and just so beautiful to me. And I've always said, I've been saying this for a long time, I'd love to make a doo-wop album someday.
Well, I hope you do, because doo-wop, when I was first starting to collect records, doo-wop records were the most valuable records. They were like thousands of dollars. And then the market dipped, I think because a lot of the original fans left this world. But it's just great music. It's timeless, and so much of it was recorded in Philly, written in Philly, also in New York with the Brill Building scene, and recorded at places like Sigma Sound in Philadelphia, which unfortunately has been torn down and made into condos.
Yeah,
which
a lot of doo-wop groups came out of Philly, and Still of the Night, which is one of those classic doo-wop songs, in the Still of the Night.
And then, you know, right alongside of the girl groups that are happening mostly out of New York City, but also some Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells came out of Philadelphia. And
so much great music out of Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
Even still to this day, so many great artists are coming out of Philly.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we've talked a lot about music, but when we were talking about Philly and New Jersey and Pennsylvania, everything, we were talking about food.
Oh, yes.
And that's the thing. I moved here from New Jersey, and that's the thing I miss most about it. And you've actually done something about it. Tell us about Gina's Italian cuisine.
Yes, I stopped complaining about it, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do something. When I moved down here in 2013, I did miss a lot of the Italian food, and my hometown was filled with great Italian restaurants, and you can't beat the Italian food in the Italian American food in the Northeast, Philly, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, and so I've always loved cooking, and I come from an Italian family, and so during lockdown, I would spend a lot of time, like a lot of people, cooking. And I was releasing an album during that time. Perfect timing. Came out May 2020, right? But I would kind of incorporate cooking into that album release, and I would do Friday night live stream cooking shows and promote my new singles and play my music from the upcoming release. And then I also offered recipe cards to people who would pre-order the album. So that was kind of the start of my food business. And then I started writing a cookbook, and then I decided one day to start selling my entrees and taking orders for Italian entrees. And Gina's Italian Cuisine was born in March 2021. And then it's kind of moved quickly. I started doing online orders and working at farmers markets, and got my wholesale license to sell my tomato sauce in stores, and kind of fell into catering. And now I'm my biggest passion and hopefully endeavor is doing pop-up restaurants around town. I don't think I ever want to open up a restaurant, brick and mortar, but I love doing pop-up restaurants around town and working on different dining experiences and things like that. And I'm also in the process of writing and starring in my own food/entertainment documentary style show called Gina Cooks Nashville for public access TV, where I'm also going to incorporate my music into that. And another thing is, one of the most interesting parts of it is trying to merge food and music. There's two things that go very well together. So I've done events in Nashville where I will cook for the crowd and also perform.
That's
so
awesome.
It's kind of cool things to put together. And I'm a firm believer in taking all skills that you have and using them to the best of your ability, and taking what's unique about you and what you have to offer and doing it.
Absolutely. Well, I love music and I love eating, so that's perfect.
I should have brought some appetizers tonight for everybody.
Now speaking of Italy, you just made a trip there.
I did.
And
yes.
It was with your dad, right?
Yes, my dad, me and my husband Jeff, who's here tonight, Jeff Syracuse. Hey, Jeff. And my dad normally goes every year to visit family. He was born and raised in Italy, in southern Italy, in Calabria, which is the southernmost part of the boot. And so we tagged along, and we spent 10 days in his hometown and took little day trips and stayed at my grandfather's home. And Jeff got to meet my whole extended side of the family there. And then we spent a few days in Rome, and just it was magical. Every day was a new adventure and new delicious food, of course. And I came back with a lot of inspiration for food for my food business.
Now, did you do any impromptu gigs or?
Oh no! Well, we did have a party one night, and I did a little bit of singing, and I'm not too well versed in singing Calabrian folk music, but I did some impromptu a cappella renditions of different songs for people.
Well, I'm sure it was fantastic. Well, thank you for spending a few minutes just telling us more about you. I want to get out of the way so we can hear some more fabulous music. But I do want to say, go to GinaSicilia.com.
Yes.
That's your site. Yes. And you do have 10 albums there that people can buy. You've got a whole catalog, a box set, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You can find me on iTunes, and I'm not going to point you to Spotify. Don't go to Spotify. But go to iTunes, go to Amazon, GinaSicilia.com. You can buy everything there. Yes.
Awesome. Well,
I'm
thank
on
you so
Instagram,
much.
all of it.
All the socials.
All the socials. Everywhere I should be.
Well, thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you so much, Tim. All right. Let's get back to it. All right. Well, a big part of my identity as a singer has always been writing songs. I love writing songs. I've been doing it, just like I said, for a very long time. But there's so many great songs out there. With that said, once in a while, I love to record a cover song. And this is from an album a few years back, originally written by Mott the Hoople, but made more popular by Paul Rodgers and Bad Company. This is kind of my more soul rendition of the tune. Maybe you'll recognize it. It's called Ready for Love.
Walking down this rocky road, wondering where my life is leading, rolling on to the bitter end, finding out along the way what it takes to keep love living. You should know how it feels, my friend. Yeah. You to stay. I want you to stay all the day. I'm ready for love. Oh, baby, I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. Oh, baby, I'm ready for love. Now I'm on my feet again. Better things are bound to happen. All my dues surely must be paid. Many miles and many tears. Times were hard, but now they're changing. You should know.
Thank you, guys. Okay. All right, this is a song from the same album, and I'll leave this one open to interpretation. And this is from my album, actually. It's called Heard the Lie. I recorded it out in Los Angeles when I was with Blue Lawn Records a few years back. Produced by Dave Darling. And this is a tune called Man in the Sky. Clap your hands if you feel like
I used to beg and plead to a man in the sky, man in the sky, man in the sky. I used to beg and plead to a man in the sky, but I got not one reply. I used to say, oh Lord, won't you help me please, help me please, help me please. I used to say, nobody knows nothing for sure in this life, but I believe it's a word lie. Man in the sky, ooh, man in the sky, man in the sky, oh, man in the sky. I say.
Thank you, guys. I think we're going to do a couple more. And this one is off an albums from years ago. And it's called Kissing in the Dark. It's an old blues tune. And once again, let's hear it for Landon Fishburne on the guitar. From East Nashville, Tennessee, by way of Charlottesville, I almost want to say North Carolina. Charlottesville, Virginia. Yes. And Landon's been playing with me. I think we've been playing together about almost 8 years now. Yeah. So let's hear it for Landon. Thank you again to everybody here for having us. Got a couple more. Here's Kissing in the Dark.
some are gonna make me sick. I've been kissing in the dark. Oh, I've been kissing in the dark, baby. I've been kissing in the dark, baby. That's my birthmark. I had a man, he lived down in Alabama. Done got his pennies all stuck in a jam. He been kissing, baby. Oh, kissing in the dark. He been kissing in the dark, baby. That's his birthmark. Come on, people, I say, get yourself wise. Get yourself hip to that old crazy job I call kissing, baby. Oh, kissing in the dark. Kissing in the dark, baby. That's my birthmark. Someone gonna make me sick. Kiss. Oh, kissing in the dark, baby. I've been kissing in the dark, baby. That's my birthmark. Oh, yes. I've been kissing in the dark, baby. That's my birthmark. Oh, yeah. I've been kissing in the dark, baby. That's my birthmark.
All right. Thank you. I love singing that song. I think I first heard Jimmy Witherspoon sing it. He has the sweetest voice, and then I started doing it. I've been singing that song for a long time. I love it. And this next one, our final song of the night, and thank you all again, everybody, is another song I've been singing for a long time, and I've always wanted to record it. So when I met with Colin Linden to talk about doing this album, we both discovered that we had a mutual love of gospel, old gospel music, and all the great groups like the Dixie Hummingbirds and artists like Reverend Gary Davis and Mississippi and artists like Mississippi John Hurd, and so we got to both do songs on this album we had always wanted to do and never had the chance. So I'm going to end with a Reverend Gary Davis song, and it's kind of it's definitely an inspirational song, and maybe some of you need that after the past couple of years of everything that's been happening in the world. And I love singing this one. It's called There's a Bright Side Somewhere. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you again to Julie Delgado, everyone here. Thank you, Tim Hibbs. Thank you for listening. I got a couple CDs for sale over there, so compact discs are making a comeback in the USA, so pick one up before you leave. And here we go. There's a bright side somewhere.
There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. There's more love somewhere. There's more love somewhere. I'm gonna rest down until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. There's more joy somewhere. There's more joy somewhere. I'm gonna rest down until I find it. There's more joy somewhere. There's more peace somewhere. There's more peace somewhere. I'm gonna rest down until I find it. There's more peace somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. I'm gonna rest down until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'm Gina Sicilia. Thank you for being here, for listening, and supporting live music. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, Julie.
For Gina, because she's awesome. That's right.
Thank you.
She can cook and sing like that. Jeff, you lucky. You know, you lucky. Okay. Buy merch. Come and see me or her, and come back and see us. Sign up for our news e-blast. Come back to a show. Let's give him another hand.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bose. Thank you, Garrett. Let's give Garrett a hand. And Tim. Woo! Come back and see us. Woo!
Thank you, guys.